Politics is a high price in Kwa-Zulu Natal. Far too many people have paid with their lives. Most of them ANC members. Now, high-ranking officials have been implicated. The recent arrests of the alleged killers of ANC Youth League leader Sindiso Magaka have been hailed as a breakthrough. The charges against Harry Gwala, District Mayor Leki Ndobe, have been dropped. It seems we've been here before.
About the case, I have mixed feelings. I am relieved, but at the same time, I am very emotional and very angry about it. I can be accused of anything, but definitely not murder or conspiracy to commit murder. All I can say is that my name has been tarnished for wrong reasons, and I don't know what are the motives for that. But I will consult with the ANC leadership on the issue.
So are the arrests a turning point in solving political violence, or are they just political posturing ahead of the elections? Tonight we have in the studio Trevor Ngwane from the DST NRF Research Chair in Social Change at the University of Johannesburg, and Richard Pittas from the Wits Institute, University Institute of Social and Economic Research. Good to have you both with us. Trevor Ngwane, I mean, what are your thoughts when you saw that play out and the fact that the charges have been dropped? Is it a case of we've been here before?
Yes, it's worrying that this is, in fact, it's troubling, because there was some hope that at last something is happening about these terrible political murders. I think even the hopes of the family of the late Magaka were up, but I think all those hopes are dashed now, and as you say, we're probably back to square one.
And Richard Pittas, I mean, they said that there wasn't enough evidence. I mean, is that a possibility, or is there just a political meddling here?
I think it's too early for us to say, but I take a somewhat different view to Trevor. I mean, obviously it's unfortunate that this has played out like it has in this particular case, but I think for many years there's been an overwhelming sense that these murders have been carried out with impunity, and I don't think that's the sense on the streets now. In fact, the city in the last few days has been awash with rumors that the arrest of the mayor is imminent. Now, whether or not that happens, people don't feel the same anymore. They feel like there's a real possibility of consequences. And I think for the moment...
Surely the consequences, sorry, not only appearing in court, but ending up in jail.
Of course. Ultimately, we want these things to be prosecuted, the right people to be arrested, and the prosecutions to be done in a very professional and efficient and effective way. But given what's happened, say, since, I don't know, 2013, where these killings were just escalating at a really rapid rate, and there quite clearly was a degree of sanction for it. To me, this is a moment of possibility, and one that all the democratic forces in society must seize on to realize whatever promise there is for this moment.
Okay, if we look at the positive side of it, I mean, do you feel that there could be political will now to try and stop the killing there, and is it even possible?
Well, look, in isiZulu we say bayabulalana, they are killing each other. So this ANC is factionalized. So this means that if they are capable of killing each other, they are capable of anything. So I wouldn't rule out the possibility of a deal being made over the dead body of Magaka. You know, maybe a truce until we see, you know, the elections through.
And the truce between whom? I mean,
tell
us more about these factions and what their ultimate aims are.
Well, there's a Zuma faction and a Ramaphosa faction.
So, but what is the ultimate aim here? Just to get their man in at whatever cost?
Okay, so unfortunately, South Africa, if it was a business, you know, we would say it has the wrong business model. But as a country, it's got a structure where a few are rich on the top, and then the majority are poor at the bottom. So the solution for the ANC, especially during Thabo Mbeki, was to get a few black people to move up and join the rich in the table. But there's not enough spaces, so there's a lot of competition and fighting to get to the top. So that is why I say it's a wrong model. We need a more egalitarian society where, people don't see politics position as a pathway to riches.
As the way ahead. But I mean, we've got factions in the ANC in many parts of the country. Why do you think it's so deadly in Kwa-Zulu Natal?
Yeah, this problem is not exclusive to Kwa-Zulu Natal, but it's undeniably worse there than it is anywhere else. And this question is always asked, and the standard answer is that politics was militarized there in the 1980s in particular in a way that it wasn't in most of the rest of the country. For a long time, politics there has been different. I mean, if people try to organize independently of the ANC, the first response from local power brokers, councillors, other people on ward committees was often a public death threat. That's not the case, I don't know, out here on the East Rand. It may happen, but it's not ubiquitous in the same way. There is a particular issue there that needs to be addressed seriously.
And if somebody does go to jail, what will not only the political ramifications be, but what sort of impact on the violence?
Well, there are at the moment two former ANC councillors from the eThekwini municipality sitting in prison for a political assassination. There have been arrests and convictions, but they've been very rare. I do think that the more it becomes clear that there isn't impunity and the more senior people are aware that they cannot act or offer sanction for these kinds of actions with impunity, I think things can shift. I mean, a year ago, I, like lots of people, was deeply pessimistic about the situation there. I thought our future was going to look like Central America or Mexico, where murder is just normalized as an instrument of political contestation. But I think there is a moment of possibility, like I said, and I think we must seize it and push it as hard as we can.
And this violence, obviously, it's the end of a long process of root causes that have probably been there for a long time too. What do you think needs to be addressed as far as that is concerned?
Well, firstly, I'm Zulu and I was born in KZN. I mean, there is a masculine militaristic culture where violence is often seen as a solution to solving problems. So, this is not to essentialize Zulus, but, there is that tradition which has to be addressed. Unfortunately, it's combined with the patriarchy, Zulu nationalism, kind of imperialist, self-glorification. So that's one thing, the culture. The other is that in South Africa, we need a system whereby public representatives don't campaign to take position in order to enrich themselves. So we should have service, not self-enrichment. Also, we need to cut the salaries for public office. Maybe, we socialists, we always say you must pay MPs the same amount a skilled worker gets so that you get committed people. Also, you need something called the right of recall. So if, for example, this mayor has been fingered, even if he comes out, but he should be immediately recalled from position until he is cleared.
I know, because the ANC in KwaZulu Natal said today that all people facing serious charges must step down from government positions without saying that they'll be moved from the electoral list. I mean, that's a conflicted message, a mixed message, isn't it?
The ANC in KwaZulu Natal, both in the city of Durban and in the province, has collectively been complicit with this for a long time. There are a number of people in both of those levels of government who have made statements that undeniably amount to complicity with political violence. There's never been any action against any of them. I don't think that the ANC there is capable of reforming itself. The pressure would have to come from outside. And I think it may be that the Ramaphosa faction finds it strategically useful or is even politically committed to dealing with this issue, but we need a much bigger political base to really address this. We need a kind of unity across different kinds of organizations to say this is not going to be tolerated. And that includes the media. I mean, a politician can say something appalling on Tuesday and then be reported on as cutting a ribbon at an opening on Wednesday as if nothing happened. These kinds of stories don't follow people in the way that corruption stories do. If we took this as seriously as we take corruption, we would be in a much better situation.
And obviously it is something that needs to be taken seriously. And now, Richard Pittas, Trevor Ngwane, thank you very much. Thank you. Up next, the top 3 political parties have born freeze on their parliamentary lists. Can these young people be able to successfully lobby for youth issues in the National Assembly? And what are they?